Welcome to the station, crew. Enjoy your stay.
Alright, welcome back to Space Station 14. This will be another round taking place on Wizard's Den's Lizard server. This time, unlike usual, I start as a janitor. I am taking, at this point, a little break from the engineering roles, as I think people are good enough to operate engineering, and I can use a little break. So, I just do my usual duties of a janitor, you know, cleaning up. I don't like to carry around a bucket, so I instead fit in my inventory a bucket. A bucket of water, my mop, and my trash bag. Since we don't need much more space. We're currently going around the station, picking up trash, trying to get materials from recycling. When we have a very unfortunate encounter in maintenance. Totally by coincidence, by the way. We get a notification that we are a Syndicate agent, and it just so happens that right as we receive that notification, and probably the person in front of us also receives it, we just so happen to be right next to someone who we need to help complete their objectives. So, since we do need to help them complete their objective, I have to at the very least, make them survive long enough for them to tell me what their objectives are. So I'm currently using my soap from my janitor's belt to clean up the evidence on the locker. Just so I get an excuse to hang around here while not being involved in the arrest or whatever. Anyway, because of this interaction, the security personnel will be keeping an eye on this person, Vivian, who will be coming back often. I try and see if we can clean people up of their prints or something, but it doesn't seem to be an option, so whatever. Anyway, the security personnel leaves, and we can get to plotting. I try to slip in a code word while they're listening to me. And so we start whispering about what we need to do, planning and such. They did this, they had to kill that security officer who just arrested them, Kim Flowers, and a scientist, and they have to survive and reach Central Command. Since I only have to achieve half the objectives, 1 kill and 1 escape, or 2 kills, will be enough for my part of the mission. Anyway, we do a bit of plotting, and I decide to buy a Syndicate Syndicate encryption key, which means that we're gonna have our own encryption channel to communicate with, allowing for better planning. Anyway, they notice the key and slot it into their headphones, and we go our separate ways. Since they told me that they need a scientist dead, I plan to go and clean science and ask them who their target is and relay information. So I empty my trash bag and ask them who the actual person they need dead is. I also head over to science to start cleaning it and maybe even get access if I can manage it. It does that Shady Milvis is the person they need dead, and you can see in the chat that the last person who we heard talk was Shady Milvis back there, but I didn't notice that. Anyway, we make our way to science, clean up a bit, and I managed to talk the director, the research director, into giving us science access. In the meanwhile, the person over there with pink hair, Jane Sinnock, which is going to be a key, important, major role in this mission, exists. That's all we need to know. Anyway, with all these clues, our plan starts taking shape. We're currently working. I haven't seen our target over in science, but we're thinking that since the security officer we need dead, Kim, is partnered with another security officer, we're going to need to double up to hopefully take them out. They say that they're going to use a hypo pen, a pen that also doubles as a syringe, an instant injection syringe. You can inject some knockout chems to put someone to sleep. I have the same thing on discount, so we can double up. We can both take a target, knock him out, and kill the one we need dead. So we have a plan. We're gonna lure them to disposals. One of us is gonna emag it, which means that the disposal will be able to grind anything, including corpses, instantly killing people who step into it. So we're gonna go to disposal. We're gonna lie and say that there's some contraband or it's been emagged or something. The clown is sticking with us for today because we said we haven't touched it, so they head towards the disposal section bin. Since there's no second security officer, I just stand here trying to make sure that other people don't intervene. And the corpse gets grinded. I try and play ignorant. Approach the clown, try and make sure that they're not gonna start talking in comms or call for help. And now I try to clean all the evidence. At first it's a high pressure type of situation. I throw a grenade that's gonna be cleaning all of the puddles of blood. I try and scrub off the blood from the disposal recycler thingy, but in the end it doesn't end up working out. Anyway, all the blood is cleaned up except for this one mark. So now we have to take all the organs to make sure that even if people come in here and know that the disposal has been used, they don't think somebody died to it. Or at least they don't know who specifically died to it. Which is going to make it harder to investigate. And also my janitor's closet over here, which has janitor only access, makes for quite the hidden spot. I put everything in the biohazard closet because nobody ever uses it, at least not in this section. In a recent update, zombies and infections have been redesigned so that biosuits like the one we have in our janitor's closet actually protects you from the zombie virus, but not the bite, the damage. So it sees a bit more use nowadays. Anyway, we stash the PDA, which means that's one of the identities. We take a gun, take their bag, take their headset, eventually, and we leave the rest. Hopefully this is not enough evidence to identify easily who got grinded up and killed, and we have enough loot that we can power ourselves up. Anyway, just at this point it just becomes regular working of just cleaning things, but for evil. Also today we're going to be hearing lots of music from Rimworld, especially the Anomaly DLC, as we'll see later. That's one target taken care of. Now we have to head to the second. And also we have to dispose of the loot somehow. I do one last check. Don't see anything interesting. Turn disposal back on to normal so that hopefully somebody else can die to it to cover up all the traces if they're stupid enough to throw themselves into disposal bins. Anyway, I get an agent ID which lets you customize it and copy accesses so that Vivian over there also has science access and another tool in their belt. But I'm gonna be skipping that part. Just know that it happened. Anyway, I do this thing where I copy my access. So they also have janitor access, though I don't think they ever noticed that. Actually, that's not true. Near the end, they notice it. Anyway, the ID has been passed. And now I try and go to science to notice our target, but I remember one last thing, which is that we have a bunch of loot in our biohazard closet that we have to sort through, like properly sort through. I only stashed it there. They can make use of it. So they come in here. And we have a nice little surprise in the corner over there. And since they have the special ID, they can copy the security access. They have security comms. I search the bag and pick up some ammo for the handgun I picked up. Later on, I'll take the disabler too. Just for extra free firepower. I did try and locate the security belt, but I think it got recycled in the recycler. Anyway, we look around for our target and we do not see them. Not in science, not near anomalies, not near anywhere. So I asked the paramedic here about it. Making up an excuse that science needs to see them. They throw in a code word. I'm not sure if it's because they're a Syndicate agent or if they just, you know, put it in there as something. But instead, they told us that they are listed as cargo, meaning we infiltrated the wrong place as they switched jobs. And also, they're doing a run on the automated trade station. But that definitely helps us locate them now. Instead of looking around anomalies and our science, we now look around cargo and delivery spots and bounties and stuff. Now, the paramedic and us are about to get there when I receive a message in my traitor communications. Eventually. We have to meet back at the janitor closet. For some reason. The paramedic tells us that they are our target is maybe in engineering. And the dog is here. One moment. Alright, so we get some information as to what the meeting is about. They have to do something inside our closet. So I try and extricate myself from the situation. The paramedic tells us they're going to investigate, which is a good thing. Might get some interesting information out of that. We head back to the janitor's closet. Since this is a relatively small station, the travel is not going to be taking too long. Vivian tells us that the security is hot on their heels, and that they have to hide their contraband so they can pass a check. They know that since they have security communications. And we get a word from a nuclear operative, Operative Echo over there, that's making contact with us. So we once again try and plan on killing our scientists. We have new information about their new origins. The operative tries to ask us about what we're doing and what's going on. We're kind of in the middle of something. There's three, at least so far as I know, three people who have Syndicate communications. Us two, plus a third traitor. Who's not really related to us. They just need me and Vivian to stay alive. That's their objectives. Anyway, I relayed the information we received. I asked the nuclear operative to kill a lot of people in cargo. Maybe they accidentally or on purpose kill one of our targets. Asked if they need any help cleaning the evidence off of their things. They don't seem to need any help. Also, our other person we needed to help but we never met, Deus something something, has achieved half of their goals. Because, in the end, they had to kill the head of personnel, who just ended up going into cryogenics, which counts, I think. The operatives said that they were gonna try and cause a zombie outbreak. In this case, rimworld. I don't need to live for my objective, so I don't mind. And if we get advanced warning, we'll be able to prepare for it. In any case, we go back on the trail of our cargo technician. But before that, we have one little side story going on. The librarian is is giving out haircuts, and they're trying to make me look like another member of the crew, which I think could be useful if I get somehow spotted as doing crimes. Maybe they could get the blame. As you can see over there in the bottom left corner, they're currently shooting disablers. I think it's either a real disabler or a practice disabler. It's hard to see from here. I think that was a real disabler. Anyway, it means that now if I do any crimes out in public, I might be able to pin them for the crime. Especially if people don't actually look at my ID. Since my face and identity won't actually change, only my hairstyle. Also, I'm waiting in front of cargo for a supply run of janitor supply, so I can maybe lure our target to our janitor's closet and murderize them there, and then clean up the body before the zombies arrive, because I don't actually know at this point if zombies count as being dead or alive if our targets get zombified. Spoiler alert, if somebody gets zombified, it does count as them being dead. I don't mind talking in communications in front of this person. They do have the same comms as I do, in this case service comms and common comms. But I'm not saying anything, incriminating, asking about supplies, asking about the front desk. Here's our target, the white moth. The librarian wants us to meet our hairstyle clone, but they give up pretty soon as they see that I'm doing something. So we try and get the cargo technician to deliver it to our closet, but they want us to deliver it ourselves. Anyway, I bring him to the janitor's closet, but they get spooked because the janitorial is currently in maintenance. Anyway, the nuclear operative hits the station and starts raising zombies. Actually, zombie monkeys. Our partner was waiting inside. Oh, and also they don't recognize me because of the new hair. And we get the intended effect of people mistaking us for another crew member. Could be useful. I did overheard the shitty saying that they were gonna do bounties. And because of these zombies, I'm guessing that cargo will get weapons, so we have to act now or have a whole firefight ahead of us. Anyway, we spread out and look for them. I am kind of keeping track with them. It's not too unusual to have a gun out during a zombie outbreak, especially if it's just a regular security gun. So we gun them down the street when there's no witnesses. I can maybe try and play it off as them being a zombie. And now I drag them into maintenance to dispose of the corpse. I don't want them to be raised as a zombie because that might count as our objective being failed. So we have to clean up the evidence in a way that won't leave any possible corpse to raise. And I want to do it on the cheap too. I don't want to spend money on getting bombs or whatever to blow up the corpse. So I bring the corpse here near a bunch of paper and a welding fuel tank that I spotted on the way. Get my bottle full of welding fuel and try to burn the body so that it becomes ash, unable to be raised as a zombie, and dead, and done for free without using any Syndicate tools. Just a security gun, a bottle of water, fuel, that kind of stuff. Anyway, the bottle has quite a small capacity. Also, as we can hear on the communications, security is refusing to arm the crew against the zombie threat, which is one of the key ingredients for a zombie overrunning the station, a zombie outbreak. So I know that my time is limited before the halls are going to be full of undead, and the situation will be just anarchy. Anyway, the bottle is not doing its job very well of burning the body, so instead I switched to using my janitorial bucket. It's going to have a much higher capacity and spray much bigger sprays. So now the fire really starts taking hold of the body. Since they're a moth, they are weak to fire. And this is pretty much way more than enough for them to ash fully. I just make sure that the body actually, disappears. Just in case. I look for any special interesting loot like guns or medicine or something. Don't find much. So we head back to janitorial. We heard that there's a nuclear monkey near science, so I don't want to leave the corridor because that was right next to science. So I stick to the shadows, the maintenance tunnels, making my way to cargo, which hasn't had any cited reports of zombies or
Emergency shuttle has been called.
zombies or nuclear operatives. Evac gets called, so now we have a time limit of 10 minutes to survive until evac gets called. I just see a zombie moth over there, so I go the other way. There's no more people here, plus security, so they should be able to hold at least the front of this place relatively easily, maybe. We make our way to the janitorial closet and find a bunch of people hiding in here. We have another fellow janitor, who is a bit of a newcomer to the game. So I don't mind, helping them out. Our Vox partner over there needs nitrogen because they can't breathe oxygen. The other Syndicate agent we needed to help comes in here and hides with us. Seems somewhat in a coincidence. So now we just have to wait out the zombie apocalypse until evacuations arrive. We do have firearms. Vivian has a Syndicate handgun, I have a security handgun, I still have teleport crystals, telecrystals, so we can buy ammo or more weapons if we need to, or medicines. Or armor, if we could. We also hide in the crates. If by a coincidence a zombie janitor, because I think there were 3 of us, if a zombie janitor comes in, they won't see us immediately and we can get the jump on them. Anyway, I try and get the others to also come and hide. I put on a helmet so that we can, because I didn't see my gas mask. So I put on my helmet so we can have air inside of the crate, because it usually runs out, especially if there's more than more than one person inside. And now we just have to wait. We can hear some zombie noises. Happen not in an even interval. The nuclear operatives is contacting us. At this point, even if the non-Syndicate agent the Erebus, the moth janitor, was to try and rat us out to the security personnel. They wouldn't be able to get much done. They don't have janitor access. They have a zombie apocalypse to deal with. It doesn't matter that much. Anyway, outside we hear plenty of zombie noises. So I try and get our other janitor to get their air mask on, so they don't make any gasping noises, as those are heard much more further than our whispering. Nuclear operatives knows now that we are inside the janitorial closet, so I guess they know to avoid that area, not to bomb it or something. Try to get security or helpers to come to disposals, since that's right next to our janitorial closet. We take a small break out of the boxes, just hanging out. And then our helper here has lots of laceration of the body, so cut wounds, leading me to ask if anybody got bit. In this time, the zombie virus didn't have the potency of the newer updates. In the newer updates, the zombie virus is really strong, as it takes hold much faster. And this time, even if they were bit, they would have like a 10-minute, 20-minute, 15-minute, a number of minutes of grace of not knowing the infection was happening. No damage, no nothing. In any case, I take stock of what options I have before me. I still have 6 telecrystals, so I can buy handguns, I can buy ammo, that kind of stuff. We hear zombies bashing in doors or closets, so we come back and hide. After a bit of time has passed, a security officer comes by with a shotgun, but it doesn't last long. As you can hear, there are zombies just right outside, and there's 3 minutes until the evacuation. One of the Syndicate comms persons has become zombified. It sounds like the security officer didn't make it. So there's one more zombie for the horde. But there's some light gunfire. People moving through doors. And somebody tries and break through the door. I don't realize right now, but they aren't actually doing that much damage to the door. But I try and distract them. I kill whatever that was fighting at our janitorial closet. But I run out of ammo. It was old Ian. Also a chicken right now, a zombified chicken is biting us. Somehow a zombie monkey, 2 zombie monkeys make their way here. And I exit, panicking, trying to lure them away from our closet, since I don't actually have to live for my objectives, personally. Anyway, I use my uplink to buy some ammo, so I can reload my gun. Crank the bolt, but the drugs I took are starting to wear off, and the damage I take in is slowing me down. The zombies can still catch up to me. I buy one more clip of ammo, take too long to reload, and get bitten, and change into a zombie. But that's alright. We did our job of luring the zombies away from our closet. As you can see, security personnel is stuck inside. We take some damage, evacuation leaves. And now we just have to wait for the end of the round. Surprisingly, Vivian managed to make it onto evacuation. Maybe because of my distraction, maybe because of another thing. There was an EVA suit. Maybe they made it to space somehow while I was distracting. The Deus, the other person I had to help, had to kill the head of security and the head of personnel, which, as we see, they went to cryogenics. I managed to do all my objectives and have some fun. Some nice janitorial fun. I didn't actually do that much janitoring. Anyway, as you can see over here, the lone nuclear operatives comes by, and they have an idea of something to test. They want to try and give me the zombie gloves. Usually when you're a zombie, you lose all your gloves when you turn. I don't actually understand what they're about to do. Also in chat, Vivian, the player, thanks us for all the help we did. Which is really not, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. We just cooperated, that's all. Anyway, because we took a minute to stand still, the nuclear operatives gives us gloves. Not only gloves, but insulated gloves. So now we can... One of the biggest zombies' weakness is electricity, because they don't have any gloves or insulation. They usually get stunned by electric stuff, shock stuff. But because we took a moment to get our gloves on, we can now bypass that weak point. Which sounds like an interesting thing. In theory, because traitors and zombies don't usually stick together, this kind of thing doesn't happen. But anyway, nice little zombie secret thing. Doesn't matter, it was fun. Okay, bye, okay, bye, okay, bye. Fun time, bye.